Hello and good morning. I'm waking up feeling sad. That's how I wake up now, every day. I'm lonely, but I'm used to feeling that way. I just wish that I had my son because he always filled in that void for me, you know? And now that he's gone, it's like a sick feeling of being like lonely on top of missing him. It's just, can't help but wake up with it every day. Sorry, that's like a juicy pimple. I'm about to scratch it off. Yeah. It's not easy. And it gets like 1/1,000,000th of a microsecond easier as the days go by. But waking up is still hard. It's been just over a week now. I think one of the hardest things about all of this for me is the images from that night that I can't seem to shake off. And when I'm around people and family and friends, I feel the love and it makes me happy. But sometimes when it gets quiet, when people stop talking, when I'm alone, that night just creeps back into my mind, no matter how much I try to forget. And just that moment that I laid my eyes on him and I knew something was wrong. And I said, "Baby, wake up, I gotta change your diaper." And usually he'll move, do something, but he didn't. And then that just triggers the whole night again. I told myself that I wouldn't wake up crying. That I would wake up and be happy every day because that's probably what my son would have wanted, because that's how he would have been. Because that's how he was. But it's hard. It's really hard. When I go to brush my teeth and I see his toothbrush there, or when I'm trying to clean up the house or pick up little things and I see his little things around, he's everywhere, he's everywhere. Not that I want to forget, because I don't. And I'm trying to be at peace with the fact that he's gone. But it's just that night that keeps coming back to my mind that makes it really hard, It makes it really, really hard. And I feel like now I have PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's just uncontrollable. I used to be really good with controlling my thoughts and, discipline with my mind, but with this, it's like so hard. I'm trying really hard to be strong. This pimple. I don't know. I guess this is just what's gonna be the rest of my life now, every morning. Every morning I'm gonna be in mourning. You know, and I only pray that at night I could see him in my dreams, but it didn't happen last night or the night before. And as a spiritual person, and a person that practices spirituality and psychic work and all that stuff on my own that nobody really knows about, that no one ever knew about. You know, it's like I can feel things, and when I don't feel him around, it just makes me sad because I know that he's doing his work in heaven. But I know where he is at all times. And you can call me crazy. I don't care. Because if one thing that I learned from the passing of my son is that life is too short to not follow your heart. And I know that I shouldn't blame myself for what happened. But at the same time, I was living a life for someone else. And I didn't go into that tent sooner because I felt like I needed more me time. Because I felt so drained with everything else. And that was my own fault because I wasn't following my heart. And so now I know that no matter how painful it is to people, it's just better to be true to yourself, you know? And I want to stand in my truth now. The fact is that I am a weirdo, and I am a loner, and I do like to be by myself, and I do like to get into weird things like psychic stuff, and tarot, and religion, and I love Jesus, and I love all that stuff, you know what I mean? And it's weird because before the passing of my son, I was really getting into it a lot. And so was my little sister, like just the spirituality stuff, like being true to yourself, following your heart, resonating with what's true with you. Like we were getting into all that kind of stuff, and I feel like that happened so that I can be strong at this time. You know, like that's how God works, that's how life works. And we'll never have an explanation for why my son passed. Even now with the autopsy and medical examiners, nobody knows what happened. He was 2.5 years old and he had sudden, unexpected death syndrome. He literally just passed in his sleep. There was no poisons, no toxins, nothing in his throat. He didn't suffocate. He didn't drown in his sleep. He wasn't allergic to the milk. He didn't have a seizure. He didn't have a heart attack. There was just nothing. Nothing showed up. Nothing. The blood work showed nothing. So I know that my angel was taken by God. And I know that you're not supposed to ask why. But being such a spiritual person that I am, it's like I can't help but ask why. And the reason why is because I didn't go in that tent sooner. And the reason why I didn't go in that tent sooner was because I was avoiding being with my husband and my baby. Not because I didn't love them. Because I love my baby more than anything else, but I wasn't in a great place in my marriage, and I just didn't want to go in. I didn't want to go to bed. They were both inside sleeping. And I felt the wind go by me as I sat by the fire, which happens when spirits come to me. And I kept saying, I don't know this spirit. Like, what is this? And I got scared, and instead of checking in on my baby, like the voice in my head was telling me. That same voice in my head was the same voice I've been ignoring for most of my life. But now I see that I'm reversed now. And that's why Logan had to go. Because he wanted to put me back on my path that I strayed from. And I love my baby. I mean, you have no idea, like, how amazing this kid was. Really, it's like, everyone that met him, even for like a split second, was just like, this kid is so cool. This kid is like, I can't believe how smart he is. Like, and the crazy thing is, he did have autism. But even with his autism, he was just such an incredible little boy. He was so independent, you know, so independent. And I let him do whatever he wanted. I never wanted to be one of those moms that was always saying, no, 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 because you see so much of that in this world. And it's because we love our kids so much, you know. But sometimes we love them so much that it's like we take away their freedom. You have to let them, you know, fall and make mistakes and learn. And that's one thing that I don't regret. That's one thing that makes me feel good, is that I know I was the best mom I could possibly be. You know, I never hit him. I never yelled at him. And I literally would just let him do whatever he wanted. If he wanted to be outside barefoot, I would take him outside barefoot. I would make sure he was safe, obviously, but I would let him do it. If he wanted to go out in the rain for a little bit, I'd take him out there. You know, I would let him play in the rain with me. If he wanted to play with the sink, same thing. I'd let him drag a chair up there. I'd let him play with the sink. I'd take all the sharp things and stuff out of the sink. I'd give him a cup to play with. And I'd let him literally splash up my whole kitchen. I didn't care, as long as he was happy. You know, when it was time to eat, I wouldn't put him in a stupid baby chair. I never would. And Alex would get so mad at me. And people would get so mad at me because we had a carpet. And I literally would just give him his baby food in a spoon and say, knock yourself out. And he would eat it and then make a mess. And I never cared. Because I just felt like he could do it all, you know? And because I was like that, like, we would take him to breakfast and to dinner, to restaurants, and he could sit by the table and eat, you know? Because I wasn't inhibiting him. I was allowing him to be free. And that makes me feel comforted, you know, because not a lot of kids get to have that. And so in his short life, he got to be free. And he was loved so much. So much. He grew up from a great family. Not from a family, you know, of violence and abuse, even though that does run in my family. And it is really bad, especially for a lot of my cousins that are out there struggling, you know. And I love them so much.